All right, I think we're live.
Woo!
Hi. Welcome to the March reading wrap up.
Woo, woo.
So I don't really know. Okay, there's like a few people here. So hi, welcome. If this is your first time here, I've been doing these since the beginning of 2022. I just thought it was a better way to do a reading wrap up than just sitting in a room by myself talking to a camera. I wanted to talk to some of my friends. So back again, my besties, Jordan and Jessie. We were originally planning to do a March Madness themed reading vlog with like brackets and all of this, but I didn't have time to think of a way to make that all come together, but it still should be a good live show. So, I mean, forgive us. We'll come up with something clever next time. But let's see. We have Danielle is here. Jessie, of course. Kim and Ashley is here. So thanks for stopping in, friends. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, ladies? Who wants to start?
Jessie, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, my name is Jessie. My channel is Reading with Jess. I typically do thrillers. That's basically it. I've kind of given up on romance a little bit. I don't know. But I also enjoy horror and sometimes romance, but mostly all types of thrillers. I do like vlogs and some other like recommendation videos and things like that. So yeah. That's me.
Hey, everyone. I'm Jordan. I'm from the channel Sorry Booked Solid. Pretty similar content to Gwen and Jess, but I read kind of a range of genres. I would say mystery thriller is probably my most common, but I've been delving deeper into sci-fi, a little bit of historical fiction, and I do like a good contemporary emotional romance every once in a while. So kind of the gambit there. But
yeah, as far as like content, they do all sorts of content, reading vlogs, TBRs. They do wrap-ups on their channels. I have their channels linked down below. I have their Instagrams linked down below. So definitely check them out. These are two of my favorite people here on BookTube. And also,
same.
I'm so sorry about this. Did I realize I scheduled this at the same time as the Oscars are on? Actually, when I scheduled it in my head at the beginning of last month, I'm always doing it like the last Sunday of the month. So I think that the Oscars didn't check with me and see when my plan was. But you can always come back to this. Or do both, because there's lots of commercials in those Oscars. I'm just saying.
I had no idea it was on tonight. So that shows how much I care.
I was like, you know what? Like, oh well. So, more friends popping in. I love to see it.
So weird. Like, I don't really watch award shows, so I didn't even think about.
Yeah.
Even though it's been like advertised everywhere, but
yeah.
I might look it up later to see who
won
I'm everything, but I don't really care to watch the whole show. But.
Yeah, and then Ashley on in the background, multitasking queen. Love to see it.
Cool.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's so hard. Like, I know Jessie had like her original show was on this day, and then she moved it to this day, and then she moved it. It's just so hard. We literally cannot plan around everything. I do not get my feelings hurt if nobody shows. Like, it's just the name of the game, so do what you
At least they're all the shows are recorded, so you can go back and watch.
I know, right? So rude of them. Yes, the Goodreads Awards are our Oscars. So true. Okay, so anyway, I was asking them before, like, how their general reading month went. So do you guys want to tell them how your reading month went?
Sure. Jordan, you can go first.
Okay, mine was pretty good. I have my stack here plus 2 more books. So 9 total, which for me is pretty average, pretty good. And there were a couple of pretty long ones in here, which I'll get to. But I'm definitely happy with 9 books in a month. And I feel like the quality was pretty good too. So nothing stand out. Like I read 21 freaking books in February or something. So not quite that level, but definitely still happy with 9 books.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I had to count. I read 8 books. I will say going into March, I was a little overwhelmed just because February was so packed with like other things going on outside of YouTube with like personal stuff, but also like the Facebook club that all three of us are in. But overall, it went really, really, really well. I kind of feel like I stole the vibe from you two, because I read some book of the month picks.
Nice.
Woo!
Which I struggle with. So overall, really well.
Nice. Mentioning Book of the Month picks, all three of us are subscribed to Book of the Month. So if you're also subscribed to the Book of the Month, let us know what you picked and if you read it. And now we're going to tell you what we picked and if we read it. So Jessie, what did you pick and did you read it?
I read both Book of the Month picks that were in the month of March. I had my books in order, so I'm like rearranging. But I think the Paris Apartment was like my official pick. And then I got the Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James as an add-on. If not, it was the other way around. So those are the two that I picked. And then I also read a backlist.
Ooh, nice.
Knocking it down.
3 Book of the Months. Yes. And what about you, Jordan?
I picked 2 in March. I didn't read them, but I wasn't planning to. I'm going to save until I pick my April one and then do a vlog after that. But I picked the Paris Apartment and then the Verifiers, which is a mystery, I think, which I've seen literally nobody else pick this one or read it yet. So I'm curious to read it myself. The synopsis sounds interesting to me. But we'll see. There will be a vlog coming probably in April. But so I picked these 2, didn't read them, but these are my only 2 Book of the Month that I have unread at this point. So I'm on track. I'm good.
Nice.
I'm ditto with Jessie. I picked the Paris Apartment. I added on the Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James as my birthday add-on. Even though my birthday was like in February, they rolled over my credit. And I read both of them, and I have a vlog of all my thoughts and all my feelings on my channel. So if you're interested in in-depth thoughts, check out that reading vlog. So I'm wondering, do you guys have any ideas like what they'll pick for April?
I'm hoping Sarah Pinbro's new Insomnia, because I really loved her Behind Her Eyes. And I think that one comes out in April, so I would love that. But I haven't really looked into what other April releases could be picked.
Yeah, I haven't really either. Oh, One Italian Summer. I've been hearing really good things about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're waiting for warmer weather. Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
17 books so far in March. That's amazing. So I didn't really say my number. They said their number. I read 18 books this month.
Oh.
But let me break it down for you, because these ladies work full time and I do not. Full-time reader here. But of mine, I did read 2 nonfiction. I read Wild by Cheryl Strayed, and I read Girl Interrupted by Susanna Kaysen. I read mostly thrillers and mysteries, which was so nice to return to my roots, because I always say my 2 favorite genres are like thrillers and then romance, like thriller mystery and then romance. And I noticed in January and February, I was like, I'm not reading a lot of thrillers, but this month I buckled down and I read a bunch. I did read 1 romance. I read 3 graphic novels and 1 little novella, like the tiny little novella for the Good Girls Guide. So, I mean, does that really count as a book? No, it's a novella. But, and then this is going to be the shocker. I read 1 sci-fi book.
Ooh.
Who am I? And I also read 1 literary fiction.
Nice.
Which is crazy because I hate literary fiction. But yeah, so I really unexpectedly went out of my comfort zone this month.
Plus, there are like 4 full days left if all of us still wanted to squeeze in books.
Oh, yeah, I do have 2. Do you guys have any books you're currently reading or that you're hoping to read before the end of the month?
I'm in the middle of 1 still. So There's Someone Inside Your House is a young adult like thriller horror, but I'm about halfway. So that's my only like must finish by the end of the week, but we'll see how the week goes.
Yeah. I don't have anything lined up. I do want to try to squeeze 1 more in before the end of the month, because I am really excited about my April TBR. So I think I'm going to do a Lisa Joel book. That's where I'm leaning towards, but I haven't decided.
Nice.
Yeah, that sounds good. I have two that it's like my next up books. So I have already started this one. It's another Cheryl Strayed, Tiny Beautiful Things. This is when she was the advice columnist, like Dear Sugar, that thing. And it's advice on love and life from someone who's been there. And I am 39 pages into that. I'm reading it physically because there's not an audiobook available. So I'm reading like one letter or something like that when I feel like it. But then my next book is actually going to be Baby Teeth. I know, I've heard it's not good. Just let me have my moment, okay? Just let me have my moment. Because my friend Richie sent this to me. So of course I'm not going to be like, thanks, but no, I'm going to give it a shot, So I think that's going to be my next one. The audiobook came in. So I was like, okay, let's do it now. And it was on my list for 22 books to read in 2022. So
Nice.
Let's do it. So those are my next two books.
Okay.
Did you guys have any DNFs this month? Because I know that Beth was saying, she says, I've read 17 books so far, hoping to finish 2 more before the month is up, not counting my DNFs. I feel you, girl. I feel you. So I was just wondering if anybody else had any DNFs this month.
I DNF'd one that I feel like everyone's going to hate me for.
I know!
I DNF'd The Love Hypothesis, but I not like a permanent DNF. I just was on a roll. No, I was just on a roll with all my thrillers, and I was like, let me try a romance. And I read like the first like 4 chapters. I was like, no. So I might come back to it. I've already returned it to the library though.
Yeah. I don't see you really going back to it, just like you said at the beginning, like you're not really into romance right now. I think that if you ever are in a romance mood, that's one to like definitely pop back over and see. Mm-hmm. I do remember the beginning being a little slow, but I loved it. 5 stars for that book for me. Jordan, did you have any DNFs?
I did not.
Very nice. That's because Jordan doesn't DNF, guys.
I don't DNF. Takes a lot. And I actually, looking at my stack, I don't think I had any that I was even close or anything like it. I didn't really have to push through any books, which is really nice.
I had one. Sorry, Beth. I feel so bad because I was so hyped for her book club book, but I did DNF Postmortem by like one of my favorite authors of all time. I did read to page 92, and I didn't attend Beth's live show with her friends, like talking about the book, because I know I am going to eventually read it, and I can just go back and watch her live show like whenever I fancy. So, but yeah, this one, it's hard because I know her books are good, and I know I enjoy her books, but I read a lot of them like a long time ago. I'm talking like 10, 20 years ago. So it's been a while, but I have since then read a few of her books, including The Body Farm, which is one of my favorites because that's where I learned about what body farms are. But man, I don't think I've ever read this one. And it's so funny that she has like this 20 book plus series based on this, this character. And this is where it all started. I'm like, how did they pick that up for more books? Because like it's kind of just bad. I don't know. And I feel bad saying that, but I know it gets better. So there's hope out there. But I do want to read the first book because, like I said, I don't know if I ever have, because 10, 20 years ago, I definitely wasn't using Goodreads or tracking my reading and all that. But I used to have a whole bunch of her books when I first started BookTube like 7 years ago, almost 8 years ago now or something like that. I don't know. I'm ancient. Anyway, I went out to the book exchange and I sent Beth like pictures. I got like 14, 15 of her books back, like books that I had before that I unhauled. I was like, I want them all again. So I went and I got a whole bunch of her books. So I'm like, I'm not technically adding them to my TBR though. They're just kind of a collection, but I will read them, maybe possibly.
More of a collector's item.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if we did have Goodreads back when you were in like younger reading? Because I guess I think about like middle school or whatever when I was reading Twilight, and like I can't even imagine what I would have said in that review. Like Edward Cullen do things to me or whatever. So I'm glad
Edward Cullen.
I'm glad I don't have every book I've ever read documented on
Yeah.
Goodreads, but
Yeah, for sure. March is the longest freaking month in the world. I'm hoping to
I
finish through
agree.
Silent Woods and Loveless before the end of the month. We'll see. I might be picking up Loveless next month. That's on my 22 books. Ooh, wow,
Nice
a big
work.
old book, a big old tome you finished. Oh, yay, Vanessa. I like it. Well, I
Ooh.
think The Perfect Child is just so different. A lot of people like categorize that as like the creepy kid thing. And I mean, they ain't wrong.
No.
But at the same time, it's based on trauma.
Mhm.
So to me, that's different.
I don't know if you knew this or not, but there was talk about a sequel to The Perfect Child. And I feel like that
I would be so interested.
really, I feel like that would like kind of ruin the first one for me.
I don't know. I don't think Lucinda Berry can do any wrong. I don't see any of her books. I read 4 this month, by the way, guys. I have a vlog all about it. My favorite 2 were Saving Noah and The Perfect Child, which Jessie has been trying to get me to read literally forever. P.S. Jordan will not be reading any Lucinda Berry, okay, because I have refused her to read those 2 specifically because no. Especially she has young children, so that's a no. But man, I think it would be so interesting because I still have questions. I definitely do. Oh, that would be so exciting. But I don't see myself ever rating her books lower than 3 stars just because she like worked in this field for so long.
Yeah.
I feel like she knows what she's talking about, and it's not just like she's making this crap up or Google searching, you know?
Right.
I've only read 5 books this month. I've been stressed and watched TV. I feel you.
5 books
Take
is
your
great.
time. Take your moment. My DNF Survivor. Oh, that's that one book, that horror novella thing, and Devil in the White City. That's what Beth's reading in April. And I did have it in one of my unhaul videos, but then I heard she was doing that in April, so I like kept it. So I still have it, but like I just don't know. The text is so small in that one, so I don't know. All right, let's see what other people DNF'd. Bunny. Good for you, Beth. Good for you. And the Sick Fox by Tilly.
I actually got that one because of Beth. So,
Uh-oh,
and then she DNF'd it. I was like, oh, well, I'm still interested in it. So,
look at Ashley.
she's on my side.
She is. All right. Anybody else have any advice on how to get on the right track for reading? I'm slow at reading. I only have 3 books so far this year. I think you take your time. You keep discovering what I find that if I'm reading something that I want to read, I'm definitely flipping the pages. I'm always thinking about when can I read my book and things like that. But if I'm reading a book that I'm not really interested in, it takes me a while to like reach for my book and actually put in the time to read. But one of the things that really boosted my ability to read like more faster is audiobooks and reading along physically. But I don't think like the number thing is the real goal. As long as you're reading, if it's 1 book a year, you're reading way more than the majority of people in America do. So, you know. What do you guys have to say about that? Any advice on how to get her on the right track for reading?
Again, numbers, they're just numbers, and don't compare yourself to others, because I'm the same way. You know, like I would love to read 18 books in a month, but again, I stick with my 9.
That's still amazing, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like that's amazing.
Yeah. And I still set a pretty low yearly goal because I fully expect to have months like that too, where it's like I'm just not feeling it, or things are busy, or personal life gets out of control, or I just prefer watching TV, whatever it is, totally valid. And I don't think anybody reads that much all the time.
Yeah. And
it's, without a break.
It takes practice too. Because I mean, I used to be a 1 book a month type of person too. So
yeah, definitely. So just take your time, keep trying to hone your reading tastes, maybe pick up an audiobook that you have a physical book for. And then Ashley says, I gave it 3 stars to be nice to the mob when it come for me. That is funny.
The mob.
All right. Beth gave Postmortem 4 stars. I went into it knowing it's super dated. Yeah, this one is super dated. It's like 1990, maybe 1990. Yeah, 1990. So it's an old one anyway. So that helps. I read Relic this month. It's from the early 90s. It's dated, but I loved it. I want to read this series now, Gwen. Yeah, it's good. Patricia. I don't know. I am not the person. It's been way too long. But if I had to recommend one of her books that always sticks with me, it's Body Farm, because that's where I learned what a body farm is. And yeah, I have a super old, like, don't look at it. Please don't look it up, but video about that book. Is Lucinda Berry a thriller author, or is she kind of like, no, she is thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's definitely thriller. For sure. No romance.
I don't think I've read any romance.
Yeah, Beth, I don't think it's an everyone thing, like a blanket. No one with kids can read it. I've just recently told Gwen that books like that have kind of been triggering me lately. So I think it's just a little too close to home. So yeah, she's just protecting
and
me.
I don't think specifically Saving Noah would like necessarily, like, I don't think it's for Jordan, definitely, but The Perfect Child, that's a no.
Yeah, and like the Push is another book that, like, for me, just specific things in that were just a little too close to home. So books with like motherhood or traumatized children or whatever, I'm just gonna take a break from for a while. I think I'm good.
That's totally fair. Oh, you DNF'd this new Swanson book. That's interesting. 9 Lives, I think it was called. 18 books so far. Definitely read 2 or 3 more before the end of the month. Yeah, any reason? There's 2 people that DNF'd it. It's super dark, but that's not the reason why I DNF'd. I didn't finish because I hate pet names, and the ones in there are just horrible. And then Alice and literally a thing I don't like. That's fair. Too many POVs. I know that's like a thing for some people. Do people really come for you as a booktuber if you didn't like a vibe with the book? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Hi, Nikki. Oh my goodness. Okay, so back to my questions that I have for you ladies. Any rereads?
Yes.
Hey, Jessie.
I started the month with Verity. I feel like I saw a bunch of people. I think Beth recently just read this one, and I think like Katie Colson actually just read this one. So I was like, oh, that would be a really good one. This would be my 3rd time reading Verity because I love it so much. But yeah, this was the only reread.
You know what's hilarious is I read that book first, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago at this point, before I had kids, and now I feel like that would be one that I agree. It would really disturb me.
Yeah.
So I like want to reread it because I have such fond memories. It's one of my favorites, but I'm like, wait a second,
maybe not.
That was really dark.
You're like, maybe in like 5 years.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I let someone borrow my copy. I'm like, oh my God, it's so amazing. You have to read it. And she was a mother to small children. And she's like, this was very disturbing. I was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that.
I know, that's what you just never know. Like, it's not, I mean, Verity is not disturbing at all to me, but I don't have small kids. Like, I don't know.
Well, I think that's just thrillers in general. Like, some people maybe aren't scared of being kidnapped, or some people, don't, I don't know, don't care about infidelity or something. Like, things that are disturbing for one person. It's crazy how people have differing opinions. Like, somebody else is like, that is not weird or scary at all.
Yeah. So did you have any rereads, Jordan?
I did not. No,
I did not either. Okay, so I thought it would be fun to talk about like our favorite character, our favorite plot, and our favorite writing of the month. So let's start with character. Who is your favorite character of the month?
My favorite character is the main character from Rabbits, which is a book that Gwen recommended to me. But this is basically this book about this like real life immersive game where you have to find inconsistencies in life and then like follow clues to get to the next clue or whatever. Our main character studied game theory in college, and so her whole career is about like understanding games and playing games, and I just think that is so cool, and I loved being inside her mind as she was solving all of those puzzles. So by far my favorite character.
Nice.
Yay, that's so exciting. What about you, Jessie?
Okay, so I have 2. I was gonna say Verity because she's one possibly messed up person, but I also really enjoyed Oh my gosh, what is her name? I just finished this one.
Shay.
Shay. I really enjoyed Shay's character from the Book of Cold Cases. I don't know, like this did not seem like your normal Simone St. James. Like it was giving me like Riley Sager vibes, but like this main character wasn't stupid in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like all of other Riley Sager's characters. So I really enjoyed Shay and her character and her development.
Yeah, I think what you mean by that, because I kind of felt the same, is it's just like it's like an easy thriller. Like you don't have to like think too hard or anything like that. But I thought it was very interesting. And I think Beth and Shay from that book was really good. But I'm going to go with Klara from Klara and the Sun, because I don't know, like, okay, guys, I think I'm not sure. Because, I mean, I'm not a sci-fi reader, but I think this is my first ever in my whole entire life adult sci-fi novel that I've ever read. So it's definitely going to stick with me. And I actually bought this book because I recommended it to Jordan, like without reading it, because I wanted to recommend her some sci-fi books. So when I tell you that I read like 50 to 100 synopses of sci-fi books, I'm not exaggerating, but I knew
you did the work.
I did the work, but I knew she liked games, and I know she likes character-driven stories and stuff like that. So based on what I read about this and Rabbits, those are the two that I picked for her. But when I was reading the synopsis of this one, I was like, I think I might like this book. So I actually purchased it myself. We both read it this month. We have a little bit of a difference of opinion because I learned more about Jordan's sci-fi taste this month. She needs a little bit more like action. And this was more like slower paced, character driven, that sort of thing. But man, I mean, it's not like a human, it's an artificial friend, but she just, I don't know. I don't think I'll ever forget her as like a character, you know? So if you're ever looking for a book that the main character is not like a human, here you go. Here's a recommendation. But yeah, it was just so interesting. And I definitely want to reread it because now that I know like the full story, I feel like when I go in for a second time, I'll know more and I'll be looking for different things. So,
yeah,
Klara.
Yeah,
oh my
love
goodness. Klara. All right, let's see what some favorite characters. Let's see. Verity was a reread, and I loved it the second time more. Okay, Peter Swanson. Don't like Swanson either. Wild card. Nick and Charlie. Oh my gosh, they are so freaking cute, Emily. I agree.
Did you see the trailer for the Netflix?
No, I'm not watching it yet. I'm trying to hold off.
Okay.
I'm trying to hold off. Really I know. I've heard so many good things. I won't even watch like reactions of people watching it yet. I'm like, I'm not ready. I'm not prepared. Because the next volume, volume 5, is going to be the last volume. And I'm really sad about that. And then I'll just have the show, but I'm like, I'm not ready. Yeah, I actually, Nikki, because of her video and raving about rabbits, I decided to pick it up. So I have that.
I can't wait to hear more people's thoughts because I haven't heard anyone else talk about it. So
my favorite characters, the main ones from Mr. Mercedes by Stephen King. Favorite character of the month is the main character from Good Rich People because she was so terrible and over the top. Because you read that this month too, right, Jessie? Do you agree with that she was crazy and over the top?
Yeah, very like I think that's the only thing that made her enjoyable was because like you just like eye roll the whole time, but like she's very over the top.
Nice. Nikki's gonna try the Book of Cold Cases. Klara, Nick and Charlie, they are awesome. Let's see. My favorite character this month was I don't know if I can read that one. Let's see.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Most anticipated. Let's see. That is my favorite Simone St. James also, Jessie. Of all the ones I've read the Broken Girls and the Sundown Motel and the Book of Cold Cases, and I loved it. But I also realized that all 3 of them had like a paranormal aspect. And then based on the titles of her other book, I was like, I think she always does paranormal. And paranormal is not my favorite, I am finding.
Well, I love that it's not like identical, like chapter by chapter. Like like the Sundown Motel was. Like, it's like, oh, here's one chapter and here's a chapter that's very similar. Like it,
Yeah, like from the past and then the present. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it did go to the past, but it wasn't like every
like
other
the same
chapter.
thing.
Yeah, like the formatting was so much better.
That's good.
Yeah. All right. So did everybody do their character? Yes.
Yes.
I think that was everybody's character. All right. What about the plot? All right.
This was hard to pick.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna let me find mine in my stack here. I think I'm gonna go with this one. I'm gonna do 2 because I can't really pick. And I can do that. It's my live show. I do what I want. Oh my gosh, you guys. Are books gonna fall everywhere? Oh my gosh. I hope not.
I'm just enjoying watching you struggle.
Okay.
Yeah, we're like, we don't have that problem with 8 or 9 books.
All right. So I picked 2.
Ooh.
I picked a romance and a thriller. I picked this one, and I don't think that my viewers that like more like emotional romances with substance, anything like that are going to like this. I know Jordan didn't particularly like this one, but I like those hallmarky feel-good romances, and that's what this is. It's set in a small town. It's a second chance romance. It follows a school librarian and a principal and like teachers at an elementary school, which that used to be my job. So I love that aspect of it. But I don't think that most people are going to like this. But as far as like a feel good, no smut, no spice romance, only kissing. So if you're looking for like a romance with none of that spicy stuff, this is my recommendation. And I've heard that if I liked this one, I would probably like some of her other books as well. So I might try those out at some point. And the second one I held up was The Perfect Child. This was just, I know I heard it compared to The Push, but I just think that The Push and this book are so vastly different. There's similarities, yes, but this one just felt more, the other one focused on motherhood, and this one focused on, I don't even know, like the trauma of like, if you get a foster kid and they've been through some stuff that you really don't know about. And even though that the dad is a surgeon and the wife is a nurse, so you would think that they would know a little bit about that, how like you're really not even prepared. And it's really, and it just trigger warning, there's animal things in here. So it was, I still have them fresh in my head. They never go away. So, all right. What about you guys for plot?
Okay. My favorite plot is Who is Maud Dixon? Okay. Here's the thing. I don't think I want to say anything about the plot. Like, I think the best part is not knowing anything, because it's a short thriller. It's like just over 300 pages. And it's very like you're going in one direction and then you're like, oh, okay, we're going this direction now. Oh, okay, we're going this direction now. So the less you know going in, the better. But very basically, it's about this author named Maud Dixon that nobody knows the true identity. And so we're going from there. We're following somebody who doesn't know who Maud Dixon is, but is kind of being exposed to that author's world. So,
yeah, that was a really good plot. Yeah, and like I told Jordan, don't read the synopsis, guys. Or if you have, just kind of forget about it for a while.
Just like set it down for 6 months and then pick it back up once you've forgotten what the plot is. Because this front flap is like literally the whole book. So don't read that.
Yeah.
Just go in blind.
And for plot for you, Jessie, what do you have?
This may be a little bit of a spoiler, but I have The Good Samaritan by John Mars. Because this was crazy and wild. And I'm really like, I don't even know like what to say about it. It's about like a helpline phone operator, but like she has very sinister motives and like basically coaches people to like basically end it. Like, and then it just goes from there, and it's just crazy and twisted. This is probably my favorite John Mars, which I was very nervous to read this.
Oh, wow.
Jordan picked it for my book club, so I'm very excited to talk about this more on my live show. But yeah.
All right. Yeah. So tell us when the live show is again, because they're so it's Jessie's book club, Sleep When I'm Dead. Yes. Jordan is the co-host. That is the book.
It will be Tuesday on my channel at 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll be playing a few games and things like that, but we'll be talking about The Good Samaritan by John Mars. So
Nice. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be okay. I have it ready.
I'm very
I'm
excited to
gonna
talk
tune
about
in.
it. It's a good one to talk about. There's a
Yeah.
lot going on.
Whereas, like, there was so much going on in that book,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Whoa!"
It's so funny because you were reading that on your sprints, Jessie, and you were like, I'm not kind of really feeling it. And then the next time you were like, okay, guys, it's picking up.
It was like, oh, this is where we're going. And like, it's just weird. Like the very first chapter, she's like, you basically hear her like coaching two people to jump off a bridge. And it's just like, oh, and you're supposed to be helping them not do that.
Wow.
It's just great. It's just wild.
Yeah, it's wild.
All right. Ashley says her favorite plot was The Other People by CJ Tudor. She did a CJ Tudor kind of thing where she talks about all the CJ Tudor books. So go check out Ashley's channel if you're interested in that author. Favorite plot was probably Pet Sematary. I've heard that is like a fave of everybody. My favorite plot is, I read a lot of the Sanders series, so let's get a books next turn. So those are your favorite. Your video has me so hyped for TJ Tudor. I actually tried one or two CJ Tudor books, and I couldn't get into the writing. So, yes, she is. Maud Dixon. Yeah, I know that was a good one. Nice. Yay.
Yeah, I'm excited to read more CJ Tudor because I read The Chalkman and did not like it, but it's because I was comparing it so much to Stephen King's It.
Yeah.
And I watched Ashley's video, and I have The Hiding Place, which I think I actually got from you, Gwen, when we met up. So I have your copy that I'm going to read.
Yeah, I think it was The Chalkman that I had, and then I had that one, and I was getting rid of them because I was like, I can't get into this writing. But Elizabeth, she's watching the Oscars with her hubby, but creeping in here for commercials. Nice. Gotta love that. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, Elizabeth, how I scheduled it at the wrong time. I was blaming the Oscars. This is one of the books she's going to power through.
There you go. I got 2 days. You can do it.
Nice.
Flicker in the Dark was a good
I do
plot.
like that one.
Yeah, I like that one too.
Yeah, I really do need to get to that one. Okay, next up is your favorite writing. I'm going to go with The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. I liked this one. This book is told in 2 parts. So you have part 1 and then you have part 2. And I loved part 1 like so freaking much. I was just about to shout it from the rooftops, like favorite book of all time. But then part 2 happened. Part 2 did let me down a little bit. But I still like overall really recommend this. It definitely has like creepy vibes. It has true crime vibes. It talks a lot about, I don't know, there's just so many intricacies of the themes and topics explored in here. But I know a lot of you guys have this on your radar and are reading it, so I don't want to like talk too much about it, but I think it's really accessible as well. As far as like, if you've never read anything by this author before, or you've never read anything in this genre before, it was just really easy to get into. I was never bored while reading it. There was no like info dumpy parts, or there was no like, you have to get through the first 30 pages before it gets interesting or anything like that. I was like interested from page 1 all the way to the very last page, and it has really interesting characters. And yeah, I love this one.
That's good.
I would also say The Book of Cold Cases because what you just said. But another one that I wanted to mention is This Might Hurt by Stephanie Warble. I really enjoyed Darling Rose Gold by her. I just feel like her writing style was very simple, easy to get into. And I was excited to pick this one up. I think Ashley was also reading this one, and I forgot this one had got released. So I really enjoyed this one. This one has cult vibes too. So I don't know. And I would describe this with cult vibes with Every Value Break by Peter Swanson, because it's got that remote island where it's hard to leave and things are weird.
Nice. I was a little hesitant about that one. I was really anticipating it. And then I did read that Lucinda Berry book When She Returned that had like cult things in it. And I was like, I think I just need to take a break on the cult thing for a little bit. I have like one more book, I think, on my TBR. It's the nonfiction cult book that I think I'm going to read. And then I might have to take a breather before I dive into that. But I'm still interested, especially considering you liked it so much. All right. What about you, Jordan?
Switching gears, getting off thrillers. My favorite writing is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna.
Oh,
So I read
good.
this month. This is my first Kristen Hanna. She writes historical fiction, and I knew I was going to love her books. I just had never picked one up before because they are ginormous. So of course, like a smart person, I picked this up for the backlist readathon to read it within 7 days or whatever. But yeah, I loved it. It's as good as everyone says it is. It's a World War II historical fiction. So if you don't like historical fiction, like, it's not for you. You're like, I don't think it will transcend that for people, but for what it is excellent. Definitely emotional. So it's a good one.
I've heard like her writing style is beautiful, but like it's also historical fiction. So yeah,
it was very like easy to read for me still. Because I think that a lot of people are scared of historical fiction because they think it's going to be really dense or really slow, but
or like use like that old writing style, like where they use those words and you're like, what do those words mean?
Yeah, no, it's not like that at
that.
all. No, and this one follows two sisters, and the two sisters are very distinct, and like their personalities are maybe not what you would expect for like this time period. So I found it just super entertaining, and it didn't feel like it was whatever it was, almost 600 pages. So I feel like that's a testament to the writing. So
yeah. So do you have any other Kristen Hanna books on your radar?
I also own Firefly Lane, but
Okay.
I think the other two that I've heard the best things about are The Four Winds and like The Great Alone. But if anyone else
I've read.
if anyone else has Kristen Hanna recommendations, I now will probably eventually be getting to all of her backlist, which is long. It's a friggin' long backlist, but
it is.
I know I'm gonna love them, so I can't just not read them.
Yeah, I feel like her writing is really distinct too. I've only read 2 books, The Four Winds, but if they took the author's name off of it, I feel like I would just know, like, this is a Kristen Hanna book. Like, you just kind of know that. So that's kind of good. So The Golden Couple, good writing. Lena's here.
Hello.
My favorite writing, The Troop by Nick Cutter. It really is hard to gross me out, but yes, definitely yes. It was really, really gross. So take that animal thing and transfer it to The Perfect Child. Yes. Wonder from Little Grade March. I love her. She did a great job putting the reader into his shoes. Aw.
I just read that, or I just bought that book. So I'll be reading it probably soon.
Yes. Oh, I've been wondering about that one. Yes, Daddy by Jonathan. Phenomenal prose. Okay, that's good to know. Ooh, yay! I'm so excited, Lena. I love that book, Jordan. Yeah, I haven't read that one. I don't know if I'm like a World War II person. I know it's not like directly, World War II.
It's not like about fighting in the war. It's about these women during war times.
Yeah. So maybe that will be my next one. It is. I agree. It's so good. I haven't. I actually watched. I think only like the first episode of that, but I haven't watched any more. I'm so nervous about Kristen Hanna, but I know I'm gonna love it so much. Just need the reason to pick it up without excuses.
Yeah, I don't think you have to be nervous. Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah, The Great Alone. That was the first one I read, and then earlier this year I read The Four Winds. It's probably going to be one of my favorite books of the year. Oh. I still think about it. Read it in January. It was like one of the first. I think it might have been like the second or the third book I read this year, and it's sticking with me, guys.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I gave The Great Alone 4 stars and The Four Winds 5 stars. Okay. So I know you guys have mentioned, but did you participate in any readathons or challenges this month? And if so, which ones, and what did you read for those readathons or challenges?
I'll go first because I did not participate in anything. I was going to do the backlist readathon, but I ended up getting pretty sick with some allergies and then a cold and then like a stomach bug and stuff like that. So I just didn't have time to like really participate or like prepare for that. I think it was like the second day I was like, oh yeah, this is happening. But I'm like, hurling right now, so I couldn't participate, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's okay.
Poor Jessie's been going through it, guys.
Yeah, and I really wanted to participate because it's one of my favorite readathons because I love backlist thrillers. So but I just didn't get to it. So.
Yeah. Unfortunate. I didn't either. I mean, I definitely did read some backlist books during the backlist readathon, but I don't know if I like hit any of the prompts. That wasn't really my goal. Mine was to read the books that I have that, you know, I wanted to read. And then, like I said, I tried to participate in Beth's book club, but I DNF'd the book temporarily. What about you, Jordan?
Yeah, I did participate in the backlist readathon. So I have a vlog coming, but that was these 3 books. So The Nightingale, Good Samaritan, and There's Someone Inside Your House. So I've kind of already mentioned those. And then the other challenge I did was the video where I read your guys' recommendations. So I read Rabbits and Klara on the Sun on Gwen's recommendations. And then I haven't mentioned them yet, but I read The Arrangement and The Amendment by Kirsten Modglin from Jessie's recommendations. So it was a good.
Jessie's like, I have it right here.
Oh yeah, there you go. I don't have a physical copy, but
yeah. So I'm hoping to read that soon. I don't have the sequel or the second book or whatever. I don't know if it's going to be a series now or what's happening with that. I just have the first one, but I'm hoping to read that soon. Let's see. The Great Alone, so good. I read it last year and I still think about it. Yes. A few Christmases. Oh, you'll have to let us know which ones you have. You'll make me feel like I'm missing out on historical fiction. I think you would like it.
I think you would too, Elizabeth. Because
I think you would. I mean, I don't know your writing as much as I know some other people's, but I think you would.
Yeah, I think you would like some of the.
This is just so thick, though. Like,
yeah, they're thick, but like they get you to think. I don't know. They like in the same way. I think in the same way that sci-fi gets you to think, what would I do in that situation? I think historical fiction also does that, just in a very different way. Like, what would I do in this situation in this time period? So that's why I like historical fiction.
The only 2 historical fiction that I did like The Great Alone as well, but the 2 that stick out in my mind is The Dream Daughter by Diane Chamberlain and The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. Those are like my 2 standout historical fiction recommendations. Elizabeth, if you're listening, those are your 2 to read. But what I love about Kristen Hanna specifically is I am not a character-driven reader. I could care less because I have enough people in my life. I can create that all myself. I don't need you to tell me about different characters doing different things. I want a good plot. I'm always in it for the plot. But somehow with Kristen Hanna, she has really good plots in her books. But there's something about her characters that you don't even realize that you're really caring about her characters as much as you are until you get to that part. And then you're like, damn, man, she got me. So I love her characters. They stand out in my mind. So yeah, I don't know. She's so good at what she does. So do y'all have any other historical fiction recommendations?
Let me look really quickly. Someone further down said Seven Husbands, which is historical fiction.
That's
so
true.
For sure, if you haven't read Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo,
get on it. That's
for
one
sure.
I like
Get
too.
on it.
I always kind of forget that one.
Even if you don't like historical fiction, but yeah, let me scroll through my historical fiction shelf real quick.
This one I have, and I love it, and it's really scary. I know Gwen does not like this one.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I like that one.
11/22/63 by Stephen King. Please don't ignore this, but it is so freaking good. It's about the JFK assassination. I do not like historical fiction, but this is by far still my favorite book ever.
And I think with that one, it was my very first Stephen King book ever. And I had no idea, I've always heard about his writing being wordy. Dude, is it wordy?
I know what you're saying, but I feel like that is that
one's got a plot.
Huh?
It does have a plot.
That one's got a plot. It's a long plot, but it's a plot.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And it's kind of like a twisty, turny plot.
Yep, I liked it.
Oh my gosh.
So many people love the book. For me, I almost think if I went back and reread it, I would almost like it more. And
Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
think I probably rated it like 3 stars. I don't even remember what I
I think you
rated
gave
it.
it 3 stars, and I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, so it wasn't like I hated
not
it.
perfect.
Oh, that's
My
a good
other
one.
historical fiction rec is Kate Quinn. So The Rose Code is a really cool book about these 3 female code breakers during World War II. And then she also has one called The Alice Network, which I also really liked. So Kate Quinn, I would recommend.
Nice. And then Ashley, I saw that you're finishing up your last book for the Backlist Readathon, Perfect Days by Raphael Montes. I am so excited to hear your thoughts on that book. I recommended it to Jessie. I know that, I hope more people read that book because it's short, but it's definitely backlist. I really liked it when I read it. Like,
I gave that one 4 stars.
yeah, I read it a while ago, like a few years ago. So I hope you like it. Middle grade readathon, Read Wonder and Pax. Both were really kind of heart-wrenching, pleasantly surprised with both. Nice. The Dream Daughter, yes.
That's a good one.
The Last House on Needle Street. Okay, good.
It's a wild ride.
The Death of Miss Westway and the Other Woman. I think the Other Woman, is that Sandy Jones? That I have that. I'm gonna I think I have that on audio coming in like a couple weeks, so I might be reading that in April. Let's see.
Oh no.
Nikki.
You can just extend it a little bit. No one will know.
Always on the ball, Nikki. Always on the ball. Okay, yeah, all of those. You got to read all of those. Do one a month. One a month. April, May, June, and July. Yeah, Seven Husbands.
Yep.
There we
Love
go. Dream Daughter is amazing. Atomic Bomb for historical fiction. It also has romance and a mystery. Nice. Oh, what about that? Was that historical fiction the one that you read with the bomb shelter, Jordan?
Kind of. It's I would call it more of a thriller, but it has like the past timeline.
Okay.
So that's the part that was the past. I mean, sure, if you want to consider that historical fiction, what is that called? It's by the author Jordan Taylor.
Yeah, I know, that's the only thing I can remember is the author. Jordan Taylor.
Don't breathe a word.
Yeah,
Here.
Don't read the word. That's
This
a
is what it
YA
looks
recommendation.
like. Yeah, it's like a YA thriller that has a historical timeline.
And a mystery.
So we'll count it. Yeah. I loved it. So
as soon as she said, what did they say? Atomic bomb. I was like, bomb shelter.
Yeah.
Yeah, postmortem was 1990. And that's true. That is true, because she talks about a lot of the stuff that like kind of old forensic stuff and stuff like that. So you got to get to it, Ashley.
Gotta get to it.
That's a good one.
Atomic Love. Okay, not Atomic Bomb. Atomic Love.
All right, I got the wheels turning.
Yeah. For the premiere tomorrow at 11 Eastern. Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Keeping Lucy is a great, short, fast-paced historical fiction too. Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes is a great historical fiction. Let's see, is the best. Diane Chamberlain's Backlist is really good. And Stolen Marriage. So Love, Unnecessary Lies, and The Stolen Marriage by her. Lots of historical recommendations here. So that's great. So Elizabeth, anybody that wants historical fiction, this is your place to go. Yeah, I have Sandy Jones. I have one that I got from Jessie, and then I have the other woman and the one with the flowers on the cover. I don't remember what it's called, but
The First Mistake.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Okay, so boiling it all down, what was your favorite book of the month, and what book would you recommend people add to their TBR?
Mine are not new ones, so I've already talked about them, but The Nightingale was by far my favorite one. But if you don't like historical fiction and you're more here for the thrillers, I would say Maud Dixon for sure is the biggest like blanket recommendation.
Nice, that's a good one. What about? Yeah, that is a good one.
I would say Verity, but again, I've reread this for my 3rd time, so that's not a shock. But I would say Book of Cold Cases, probably my favorite new read of the month. So I would recommend that one as well. I am curious. I know this wasn't on the spreadsheet, but maybe after this question, what your least favorite was?
Yeah, that's a good question. Okay, my favorites were these two and Saving Noah. I actually read first and then I read The Perfect Child next, and they were just both so good. I think again, these aren't for every reader. These are, I mean, this one is about kind of like a young teen that admits to molesting young girls and ends up going to I want to make sure I say the right name, a juvenile sexual rehabilitation center, but you don't really get that. You get him coming home from the rehabilitation center and what takes place after that. And it is shorter. It does have a really good twist in it as well. But this one is just, man, it has so much packed into this book. But like I said, it's definitely not for every reader. And yeah. But other than that, I would say the What You Wish For, the romance book that I was talking about earlier that's buried somewhere on my desk now. That was really good. Oh, here it is. It's over here. It's on this side. This one, if you're looking for just like a feel-good Hallmark romance, it's like 306 pages, so it reads very quickly as well. So that was a good one. All right, Jessie's was, what was your least favorite book? Not including DNFs. Not including DNFs. Okay. This is going to be interesting. Let me look. I'm looking at my star ratings over here.
Mine's the only one I haven't talked about yet.
Yeah,
okay. Well, I kind of had two 2-star books this month. Okay, let me find them. This was my first. Yep. 2-star book. Hot take right here. Hot take. And I will briefly talk about why. And then my next one was one of my Lucinda Berry books. I don't know where they are. Here they are. Which one was it?
When She Returned.
Yeah, it probably was. Yeah, it was this one, because I rated this one 3 stars and I rated this one 2 stars. But I will say that in my Lucinda Berry reading vlog, Lena, who's in the chat, my friend Lena, she left a very detailed comment talking about every single book that I read. And I think that Lena has a really good different perspective than I do, because she kind of works in a field that may encounter some things like Lucinda Berry did, kind of thing. And so she just, out of all the books, like, she had her kind of takes on them and stuff like that. So watch my blog for sure and hear my thoughts. But Lena has all of her thoughts linked down below as well. So I'm actually going to pin that comment if I remember, because I thought that was really nice that you detailed like what you thought about each book and you pointed out some things. So it almost had me like rethinking some things about my thoughts about the books. I was like, oh, that's a really good point. But that just goes to prove that when you read a book, you're only taking it from your lens and your experiences and stuff like that. And since she obviously has different professional experiences than I do and stuff like that, she has like a different take. So definitely check out that vlog, check out her comment. It was amazing. Yeah. All right. Least favorite books for you guys.
Mine is the one I haven't talked about yet, A Beautifully Foolish Endeavor by Hank Green, which is a sequel to An Absolutely Remarkable Thing, which is like a blue and green cover, which is a sci-fi duology. The first one was amazing. It was 5 books, or 5 stars. And it's about, kind of similar to Rapids. It's like a game. So we're following this main character who's solving puzzles, and it has to do with like social media and going viral and instant fame. So I loved that. And then this book is like none of that, and it's very long. And so I was just reading this whole thing like, why? Like, can I read the first book again, please? Because this was just a big disappointment. Obviously can't talk specifics, but big disappointment. If anyone's read this series, let me know if you felt the same way. But I was just like, what am I even reading right now? Like, this is not.
Was it like a follow-up to the first book? Was it totally different characters, plot, all that, or what?
Yeah, so it follows basically the same characters, but like the first book had wrapped up, so it's a new situation, and it just wasn't the same. It just didn't give me the same like feelings of wanting to, keep reading. It was just like 500 pages of a situation I didn't care about. So
all right. And Jessie, you held up the same book I held up. So why would you say, in like a quick little, because we don't want to spoil people that still have it on their TBR, but why would you say that was your least favorite book?
It was just very long, drawn out, and for the love of God, please stop speaking in French. That's all I'm gonna say.
As far as why I said this one, it was Colts, and I didn't think that it brought really anything new. And I think I was confused about how it was written, and it's really the main storyline takes place after she's kind of come back from that experience and she's back at the house. But I also think that it was really weird to tell the story from like the three women's point of view, his old wife, his new wife, and his daughter, and like not his perspective. And then how the current timeline is going from when they found her and, moving this way. But then the mother is telling the story of like when she got taken. So I almost felt like it was converging this way. And it was a little like much to wrap my brain around. And also it was like kind of predictable, but watch my vlog for all of my thoughts. As far as the Paris apartment, the French phrases, I think I learned a couple French phrases because the same ones were used over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And it could have taken place anywhere. It didn't feel Paris at all to me. I didn't get Paris vibes. Like I did not feel like I was in Paris, and anybody that can speak French can speak it anywhere. So I didn't feel like just having those French phrases in there was like, oh, I'm in Paris, no. And I always complain about this in thrillers. And one of the reasons why I liked No Exit by Taylor Adams so much is that was the first thriller book where someone encountered a problem, a conflict in a book, and they were actually actively trying to solve that problem. They were doing things. They were, making, like, okay, let's try this. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, let me try this. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, let me try this. Where in the Paris apartment, I feel like the main storyline is that she's having a tough go at life. So she goes to her brother Ben's apartment in Paris to kind of stay with him for a while. When she shows up, he's not there. That's the basic storyline. So, of course, what's the main plot? She's looking for her brother, Ben. Where did he go? So that's basically the whole story. She goes floor to floor like, hey, have you seen Ben? Oh, you haven't? Okay. How about you? Have you seen him? Do you know where he could be? Oh, you don't? Okay, let me ask the next person. And then she goes back to the first person and says, well, do you have any idea where he could be? And I'm like, bitch, you already asked them this. Like, you're going to have to do something else, honey. You're not getting the answers you need. You just need to try something else. And I feel like she was very gullible. And I know Jessie talks a lot about this, like how she's a gullible person and how sometimes like she just like believes it at face value. And I feel like this character was really gullible. Like people would be like, oh yeah, I don't know anything. And she's like, oh man, that stinks. Okay, well let me ask somebody else. Like you just think they're just going to tell you the truth. Like you're not even thinking that they could be lying to you. Right. Even when you're getting clues that they could be lying to you. Like, I don't know. I was just so frustrated. I was just so frustrated with that one, but
I need you to read Lena's comment.
Okay, which one? Let's see. Is it way at the bottom?
Maybe the fifth one from the bottom.
Oh, this one.
No.
Okay, no. Sorry, Lena. I'm trying to find your comment. Oh, this one. Okay, Gwen. As long as I've heard it, just say poop in French over and over again. I think I'll be fine with the French phrases. It does not. So we're okay there. I mean, it might, but I don't think that was one of the phrases. Oh my goodness.
I'm still going to read it.
I mean, I think there are some people that love it. Even in my review, I think Kim was the one who was like, you just really did not like this book. And I was like, I really did not.
But no, I think if you like the guest list, you should give it a try though.
It's interesting because the writing felt familiar to me. Mm-hmm. As far as like the multiple POVs and stuff like that, that felt familiar to me. And I almost was like, man, was the because I know you didn't like the guest list, Jessie, and I loved the guest list, but I think I read it before a lot of other people did, and I don't know if I was just like in my moment, but then I was like, man, so was the guest list really that good or what? But I almost wonder, like, you know, like some people are like, if you like this book by this author, you're probably not going to like this one, or, you know, vice versa or whatever like that. I don't know. I hope you love it, Jordan. I hope everybody out there loves it. Do I recommend it? Not so much. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I'm behind on these. Okay, I'm screaming. Saving Noah is my absolute favorite book. Just please be forewarned about all the things that I said.
Do you have any other Lucinda Berry books like on your radar?
I want to get all of them. I want to read all of her backlist, including the new one that's coming out. Just because I don't think she can do a bad story. I think there's going to be ones that I like more than others, but I just don't find, like, even this one, like, objectively, I just read too many cult books, you know? So that's why I was just kind of like, I'm over the cult thing. Like, It didn't bring anything new. I wasn't shocked or surprised by anything. I was like, let's just be over. And plus, reading an author's 4 books in a very short amount of time, that could also be like partly the reason why, you know? Let's see what else. So yeah, all of them, Jessie. I want all of them. They're all on my wish list. Everybody go buy me a book from Lucinda Berry. Some people already did for my birthday, but there's a few more on my wish list. Yeah. Raving about it when I was on your podcast. I've read like 5 times since. Yeah, you said you were going to reread it. That's awesome. I love seeing it over and cried. Oh, it was so hit you in your feels. Sorry, I know, Nikki. You watched part of my vlog. You know. A Child Called It and Night Swim. I actually liked the Night Swim. I think I rated it 4 stars. But I haven't read A Child Called It. I heard
it's very disturbing.
Yeah, because that's like based on that. It's true, right?
Based on true
events. I read that in school.
Yeah.
Whoa. In college?
No, like high school, I think, or
maybe
maybe middle school.
What?
Yeah. It's so sad and depressing.
So if you're totally traumatized by things in your life, you can blame your teacher that made you read that book.
Yeah, I don't remember why or exactly when, but yeah.
Oh, you didn't like The Lost Village?
I DNF'd it.
I gave it 3 stars, I think, because I really wanted what happened at the end more sprinkled throughout. But yes. Let's see. No worries. All right. Good. All right. Let's see. And then any books that are any projects you have going on for April that you guys want to talk about?
I am going to be doing a Kirsten Moglin vlog.
Yay!
Books by her. I have The Missing, which I thought was new, but it's kind of more on her back end. But she has so many books, like once a month coming out all the time. But I have that. I have The Lucky Ones, I think. I have the NetGalley audio book for it. So, and I have the Kindle book for some reason. I don't know why. And then her newest one, which is called Tell Me the Truth, which sounds the most interesting. I'm super excited about that one. But it's about a woman that finds out her husband is cheating on her. And so instead of just like doing what every other domestic thriller, she ends up like working at the same job as the mistress, I think. I don't know. It just sounds really interesting.
Sorry, I was reading that comment. But no, that does. I definitely want to get into Kirsten Moglin and read some of hers as well. Maybe that will be a thing that we have in common. We're both going to be reading her books. Yeah. What about you, Jordan?
Thanks. So I'll be doing my book of the month reading vlog, like I said. So I will be reading The Paris Apartment. And I'll include whatever April book I pick, if I pick one, obviously. And then I think I'm going to read some space books as I continue to figure out my sci-fi tastes. I have a few different space sci-fi books that have been on my radar for a while. So I'll do a vlog about that. But
nice. That's exciting.
Not sure.
Well, I mean, I have all these plans, guys. I bought Rabbits because Jordan liked it so much. Fell a little hard at the end, so I'm forewarned that that's going to happen. But I have that one, and then I got another secret mystery sci-fi book because I'm like, ooh, maybe this will be the next one I recommended Jordan. This time I will have read it first.
Yay, I can't wait.
But I might do that vlog. I don't know. I'm really right now. I have kind of. I mean, based on, if you want to get my full breakdown of every single book that I read and all that, check me out on Goodreads, check me out on the Story Graph, join my Patreon. I literally give reviews of every single book that I read in detail. But I kind of fell off at the end of the month. I wanted to read The Good Samaritan. Didn't happen. I think it all started with the DNF of Postmortem, really. I just kind of abandoned my TBR and I just started picking up things that I was interested in. I did want to talk about a couple quick books that I haven't talked about and that I haven't made. Sorry, the books are out of control over here, guys. That I haven't really talked about. I read Girl Interrupted. I started this yesterday. I think I read like a chapter and then I finished it today. And this is obviously her memoir of her time in a treatment center. It's set in the 60s. There is a movie. And I was surprised because the movie is one of my all-time favorite movies, Girl Interrupted, with Angelina Jolie. I'm blanking. Brittany, I'm forgetting all the characters, but I loved the movie. It's one of my all-time favorites. But the book was just kind of different and interesting than I thought. I'm almost like, how did they get that movie out of this book? I mean, it has the same characters and the same vibes, but I mean, it's just way better on screen. Of course, this is written by the person that actually went through the events. So, but one thing that I did like about this is that it had a whole bunch of the actual forms, like the redacted forms from her time and stuff like that. So it was kind of interesting to see like the terminology that they used and stuff like that. But yeah, so I read that and I'm glad because it's been kind of like on the back of my TBR kind of forever. I also read Wild by Cheryl Strayed this month. And I really, really enjoyed this. It's also been one that I have just been like meaning to get to forever. So when these books were calling my name, I was like, I'm here. It's time. So I did that. I also read this one. This is like the first book that I read this month. And honestly, it feels like I read it last month. That's how long ago it feels. Not my favorite, but it was still enjoyable. Will I continue on in the series? Questionable, because it kind of alludes to what's going to happen in the next book, and I'm like, am I really interested in that? I don't know. So we shall see, but it'll probably be hyped up and I'll be interested in it. And then I read The Night Shift by Alex Finlay. I read this with Sarah from Sarah's Shelves, and on April 4th on my podcast Talk Bookish to Me, there will be a full in-depth discussion of this book. Sarah and I had similar thoughts. We had some differences, but it's a great episode, you guys. You're definitely going to want to tune in. The beginning of the episode is spoiler free, as all of my book discussions are on my podcast. But I think it's going to be a really, really good episode, and it's funny as well. So yeah, you're going to want to tune into that. If you've read it or not, like I said, the beginning is spoiler free. So yeah. And then the last book that I wanted to talk about is something I read today. And it is called The Swimmers by Julie Otsuka. And this was my literary fiction book that I read, and I only listened to this on audio, which was something I do not do, but it's a hardcover book. It's only 192 pages, and it's over $20. And I just really wanted to read it. And I'm like, I didn't even check if my library had like a physical copy because my audiobook came in before I could even like look at that. I was like, okay, I'm doing this thing. So I listened to that today. The audiobook is only like 4 hours on normal speed. So of course I bumped it up to like 2 times speed, which is lower. I think I did 2.25, which is obviously lower than I normally read when I'm reading along physically. But it was a powerful read. It's about a group of people, a group of swimmers that all go to the same community swimming pool, like underground. And it's kind of this collective first person plural. We do this, like the swimmers. And then in the second part, it focuses, so they're the swimmers. And then a crack forms in their pool. And so they're looking at this crack. They're trying to figure out what it is. The pool ends up closing down. And then the second part, one of the characters, one of the swimmers, Alice, she is a Japanese American woman that has dementia. And she has a rare form of dementia called like it's like a front lobal, I don't know the exact term, dementia. And I don't know if it's because like what I'm dealing with in my real life right now or what, but it was just so interesting. And I wrote a review for it. I do want to get a copy of it. Maybe if it goes on sale or I find it at the Book Exchange or something, but like $20, it's so expensive. But I think I would have rated it higher if I would have had the physical book. But just listening to it was a little difficult for me. But it's an author that like lists. She like there was like one chapter. I feel like the whole thing was just like a list of things of like that the character remembered and didn't remember. But then even in other parts, like about the swimmer, she would be like this, and this. It was just so interesting. So if you're looking for a book that like with mental illness representation in it, the author's mom did have dementia and this actual particular rare form and like Pick's disease, I think it's called, or something like that. Anyway, so it's not like exactly own voices, but it comes from someone that like knows what they're talking about. And it was just really powerful. So that was interesting. So did anybody else have anything that they wanted to share about their reading, or does anybody else have any questions for us? Yeah. Let us know. Let's see, 20 pages from the end of Paris Permanent. I'm actually really liking it. See, there's hope.
Yay.
And I feel like Jordan's going to like it. I don't know why.
She probably, well, she goes into it just for the fun ride.
Right.
You know, so I think she'll like it.
We do actually have pretty different tastes than the two of you when it comes to thrillers. So
yeah.
I hope so.
So like The Reckless Girls, you loved that. You gave it 5 stars because you were just in it for the ride. Yeah. So I think you will like it. See, it wasn't the best, you know, was it 5-star quality like prose or something? No, but it was a fun ride. Sorry, I already stopped. Episode.
I have that. I have both of those on my TBR.
Read it in high school. Wow, I can't believe that y'all were reading a child called It in high school and stuff like that. That is crazy.
I think Jacqueline read it and she said it was like the biggest child abuse case in the state of California. Like it's that horrific. It's so awful.
I have never read Sybil, but I watched the old movie Sybil, and that was eye-opening. So I can only imagine. The Night Shift, well, you have to tune in. April 4th, talk bookish to me. I don't even on like Goodreads and Storygraph, I don't put my star rating. I don't put my review. Yeah, you just got to tune into that episode. Who are your April guests for the wrap-up, Gwen? I do not have anybody scheduled right now. So, but who's your guest for the book club, Jessie?
Well, I do have a video coming out later this week announcing April, May, and June.
Ooh!
But I have
it's not me, guys. Sorry.
Yet. I do want to like make my rounds and see if there's anyone that I want to bring back. So definitely. And then obviously Jordan's going to be online in 2 days. But I have like said in my reading sprints who the April guest is. It's going to be Jacqueline. And we will be reading The Family by Louise Jensen, which is a cult book as well. But May and June, you'll have to wait
for that. Tune into that video.
Yeah, because I'm really excited for the guests and also the books that we've picked.
Nice. Very fun. Yeah, it's Jordan. I'm blaming Jordan for my sci-fi kick. It's like Beth with the true crime, Jordan with the sci-fi. What the heck is going on? Jordan, Gravity by Tess Greer is that person. Sci-fi horror in space. After 10 years, it's sticking with them. Nice. It's American this month, and I am patiently awaiting the discussions for both of those. Nice. Yep, there you go. Silver Linings Playbook a few years ago. The movie was better. Can't wait to see what your book club will be reading next. Yeah, that's always exciting. I love it. Yeah, it's like a frontal lobe dementia. Did it affect her prefrontal cortex impulse control? Sorry. I'll send you a link to this article. She was on, I think she did an interview with one of the guys from NPR. I'll send you a link to that article later, Lena. It was so interesting. Interesting book about Alzheimer's dementia. Now I have a caregiver for now who has the disease. That's tough. I'm sending you positive vibes. Amnesia thrillers. Well, you're going to have to tune in to talk bookish to me later when we do an episode about that. Okay.
There you go.
Because that is on the docket at some point.
Oh,
All right, guys. I think that's it. Any last words, final thoughts?
I'm
No.
good. This was so fun as always.
Yeah, I love
talking.
here.
Yeah,
I know.
talking
I
about
love
books.
having you guys. These are two of my besties. Please go check out their channels. I'm hoping that everybody here is subscribed to them. If you're not, I mean, yes, you need to make it happen. Also, guys, I passed 5,000 subscribers.
Yay!
I'm so excited. So thank you guys so much. But anyway, that's all for us. Thanks for being here. If I decide to do an April TBR, I'll announce the guests and all of that. I mean, is it bad of me that I just always want to have Jordan and Jessie here? I'm like, come back and talk to me again. Anyway. All right, guys, that's it for this time. See you next time. Bye.